Good day and welcome to FDM, the channel dedicated to Ferra data models. Well, it is Friday and time for an update to our weekly Are We Winning series. I've already updated the data, so I'm going to go straight into the reports and let's see if we are winning. Well, here you see a model that I've built. There's a red line that's being squashed out of the graph because of the scaling of South Africa at the moment. And you can see especially how South Africa is struggling. Now this model, we should outperform this model to be winning. And I started monitoring this when this grey box starts. That marks when I started with this. And initially we were doing well. At the moment we are really struggling. And even the world is struggling. Now this is South Africa. These dotted lines is the confirmed infections, the official figures, and this is a 7-day moving average, just to smooth it out a bit. And we are just going up and faster so at the moment. Every week I hope that we peak, but we are going through the roof at the moment. So let me move South Africa just to a different axis, just so that we can see what's happening to the rest of the world. I'm just going to put South Africa on its own little axis. There we go. Okay, so if we look at the world also is struggling. The world, when I started monitoring this, I scaled it so that the world and the data, the model were on the same level, and I scaled South Africa and the US according to that. So that you shouldn't pay any attention to the values here. They just to get a common starting point. The US initially was doing very badly, but they've been making progress until about 2-3 weeks ago. And now they are also exploding again. The world was doing well. It seemed it was able to get this under control. But since about May, this has been creeping up, and at the moment it's going up at, looks like an exponential rate. So it seems everybody is struggling. South Africa, the US, the world. So let's look at some other graphs. Let's look at the model and the figures relative to population size. So these are the figures relative to population size. And again, you can see South Africa initially doing much better than the US. But since mid-April or so, we've been increasing, and we've been increasing rapidly the last couple of weeks, and we are just exploding at the moment. The US also, the US initially did pretty poorly. This is New York. Then as New York got it under control, the whole thing came down quickly. But for the last 3 or so weeks, it seems there's a race between South Africa and the US to see who can get the biggest portion of the population infected. So we are really struggling at the moment. Let's look at some more figures. Let's look at the fatalities. Here you can see the world, the proportion of world population of total deaths that's related to this disease. You can see the US, and the US was flattening out. It seemed they were getting things under control, but now as it's spiking up again, also the deaths are starting to pick up again. And South Africa, the deaths are picking up. At least South Africa is way below the US and the world in terms of the impact of this virus. But we are picking up, and at this rate we'll catch up with the world at least in the nearby future. Okay. Well, there's this other model I've been doing for a while now, and what I'm doing here is to look at the reported new infections, the official figures, and that for the US, for example, it's this magenta line. That's the official infected, new infections. And then for South Africa, this blue line gives the official figures. Now, I also use the fatalities or the deaths related to COVID as a predictor of the number of infections. And it works like this. If one person dies today, it means 14 days ago, 100 new people were infected. That's a fairly large a fatality rate of 1%. So after 100 that was infected 14 days ago, one of them ended up as a fatality today. And then you see these figures. So for the US, the real infections, I suppose, would be somewhere in between these lines, and for South Africa, the same. And you can see how this is increasing based on what's happening at the moment, and how it was coming down pretty quickly, but now it seems we are going in the wrong direction again. Okay, let's look at South Africa. So here you see the South African figures. Now this magenta line in this case is New York. In New York, the disease bubbled up like that, and then it peaked actually fairly quickly. The peak was reached within about 2 months, and then for the past 4 months or so, this has been working itself out the system. So I'm hoping we can peak, and then we can have a 4-month period to work the system, the virus out of the system. Be that as it may, at the moment, everybody, including South Africa, is struggling, and it seems we're going to be struggling for the while still. Well, that's it. Stay safe and see you next time. Bye-bye.